Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is time for MLG Prime Time. Now, neither of these teams are currently fighting for top 2, but third place. So important. You get into Anaheim pool play, stage 2, you battle in the CWL championship, and the winner of this is going forward. On one side, Red Reserve just need the victory here to cement their spot for the events later in the year. On the other side, Elevate, they need a 3-0 or a 3-1 victory to have a chance to get into that third spot. To bring you this cast, it's none other than Christopher Puckett and Chance.
Thank you very much, Maven. We're getting fired up. It's prime time, and boy, does this match have some serious implications. Elevate at the start of the day, their hopes, they were in the hole. They didn't think it would be possible, but they take Optic Gaming to a Game 5, and now that means whoever wins this series, they are guaranteed that third place. They're going to champs. They're going to Anaheim. And of course, they're locked in for stage number 2.
Yeah, pressure's on. This is what it all comes down to. The entire weekend has been geared up essentially for this moment. Of course, once it's decided they're not going to get into that top 2, these teams have played each other before. Red Reserve has the edge the weekend. I think Elevate had the edge back in Birmingham. Very closely contested match on our hands.
Last time it went all the way to a Game 5, but that was 2 days ago. The teams have had lots of games. They're warmed up now, and you can see Urban is going to open things up with a 2-piece. Elevate's going to answer back, but it'll be Red Reserve wearing blue in this series. They will have control first.
Yeah, a little bit of play of words we got going on there, but Urban definitely going to be one of the players to watch on Red Reserve, kind of the X factor for that team. He's been on point, and TP pointed out as well. He's been rocking that EMC in the back pocket on pretty much any class he runs, and he's been putting work in with it. And I agree with TP. I think that's something that a decent number of players might start to adopt.
You saw Proto was running that EMC. It's also in Urban's back pocket always. It's the single shot pistol that has been devastating once you run out of your AR ammo. Urban picking up another one, continues to look for pressure, but Elevate, they're all going to be storming across the middle of the map. He's going to have his hands full here in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, this Turbine Hill has to be the most important hill on this map. So many games that go down to the wire pretty much end on this very hill. Of course, Red Reserve does have the setup for the moment. They got the hill time. Urban's trying to pick up kills. Rated, though, is going to be able to pick up that 2-piece. He's been leading his team in the respawns, trying to do again so once here.
Rated is going to continue to rotate around, but he's going to be caught off guard, and it was Nile who stopped the first push. You're going to see him find Watson as well. So Urban, Nile, Shawnee, and Joe, everyone's slaying pretty decent at the start here. They should be able to pull away on the Turbine and Elevate. Honestly, one of their biggest weaknesses we've seen this week, and it's just the hill retake. They have not been able to do anything.
And I love this. I love the use of the Ripper Evo. This gun actually has the best stats in the game from the SMGs and ARs. It kills the fastest at every range, including long range, of course. The farther and farther you go, that gun is very difficult to control. It kicks like a mule. But again, if your shots are on point, it can be a devastating weapon to have in your hands.
All of the kill feed, it was blue. That means you're going to have total hanger control if you're Red Reserve. On your screen is Urban. 8 and 5 at this point, looking for kill number 9. Joe's going to get that player before he can even get close. Now a new challenger, and Urban will instantly shut down Reedy. One at a time. Elevate is running into the crosshairs here of Red Reserve. Your scoreboard, it's now 80 points and counting to just 45 seconds.
And this is already huge. Red Reserve back on Turbine, held it pretty much the entire time outside of a bit of contention, and they're able to get the spawns for the next hill as well. And they're trying to win the gunfights. It looks like Zed, though, is going to be able to pick up 2, make that 3 in total on his way to the hill. So that is a successful break from Elevate, but again, it took him about 30 seconds to make that happen, so Red Reserve doing pretty well.
Zed was kind of their monster player against Optic Gaming. Quietly, he was doing the damage. When you saw him in the kill feed, he was there with multi-kills. He's on a 4 streak. He's starting to play for these score streaks as well, which could be a game changer later on. That's a big kill on Urban. Zed looking to find 2 more, and he'll unlock the Trinity Rockets.
Well, 3 for 3 so far for Red Reserve on that rotation battle. It's all about how well they can hold or how well Elevate is going to be able to break through. Score streak is going to get cut down as Joe is able to pick up 2. And clean sweep coming out of Red Reserve. They got the rotations and they got the clean break.
Nile set up, spots one, pre-fires the corner. No pressure yet. Here they all come. Breaking in, it's going to be Reedy. Reedy picking up 2 in that fight. Zed finds a 3rd. Joe, though, holding his ground for now. In any moment, you're going to see a peek as Reedy and crew have 20 seconds to gain here unless Red Reserve can flush them out. First, it's Rated getting picked Watson and Reedy doing the damage. Zed is here against Urban, though. Elevate holds their ground. They'll be able to pick up the scrap time, and all of a sudden, we got ourselves about another 10-point game.
Yeah, very good game, as you said. Pretty close between the two teams. Red Reserve done a fantastic job in that first half of just making sure to rotate to the hills, but Elevate have done pretty good about breaking through. Turbine was a little bit of an iffy moment for them, so they're going to have to focus on that this second time around. Either way, though, Red Reserve going to be in control of Drill, but again, those spawns always going to be key. Elevate right now does have the favorable side.
And we kind of talked about Urban, his strength. We've highlighted Shawnee from Scotland throughout the weekend, but I think this map is going to come down to Joe. So far, he is +2. He's staying positive, doing the short-range damage with the E-Rad. Here he is coming off the spawn, but his teammate's controlling bridge. He knows that all of Elevate is going to be flushing from one direction. He's going to try and get behind enemy lines. That's the first pick. Now they have to turn their attention. His teammates continue to score. Joe is just a distraction, but he splits up Elevate, and now Red Reserve has total control.
Yep, decent bit of time as well. Of course, though, is what we're talking about nonstop. It's all about this Turbine Hill. This time, Elevate is going to be in control. They kind of fixed their mistakes from the first time around. Urban, though, going to be able to do the dirty with that FTL on Reedy. Once again, we've been here before, and we'll probably see it again. Either way, though, it's going to be useful for that break. Elevate had those spawns early on, but Red Reserve, fantastic job. Joe, once again, 13 and 10. He has struggled quite a bit so far in the respawns this weekend, but now that he's turning up, his team's looking great.
I think this is the most FTL jumping we've seen, at least effective FTL jumping. Unfortunately for Red Reserve, though, they were all just mopped up. You're going to see it was Reedy and Watson inside the hill. And now Watson is going to be working on his Scarab. Needs one more kill. It's right around the corner. Nile will be his target. We take our screen over to Rated, who splits gunfights there. Urban is mopping it up. 25 points to go. And that's about the difference in the scoreboard. You can gain a lot of ground here if you're Elevate, but you have to hold strong. Watson does it, picks up both Urban and Joe. Zed is going to be watching the entrances to the factory. And look at the hangar. Player number 1 right now. Big gunfight. Reedy wins it. He's got control. He's going to be racing to the back. Has to beat Shawnee for spawns.
And this is a complete role reversal. Elevate, they got the spawns on Turbine, and they managed to get him for a hanger as well. At least if Reedy can keep up the slang, he's got a couple players coming in the back in front of him, only able to pick up one. And it looks like his team actually fell short as well from inside the hill. So Red Reserve doing a nice job to lock down hanger early on.
Shawnee with 2 big kills there first. He beats Reedy, he gets the spawns for his team, and then he helps clear out the hard point. We take a look, though. Watson is the player to watch. He's definitely playing for streaks at 5 kills. Is Watson going to fall? Yes, he runs straight into the E-Rad of Shawnee. Joe mops up Zed. Everyone dead now for Elevate. They're starting to cycle in one at a time, and Red Reserve is picking them off. This time it's Urban. Now we have Nile in the feed. Elevate, I feel like they're starting to panic here, Chance.
Yeah, I mean, that failure streaks, honestly, could be pretty big. We saw earlier when E6 was playing, General did a very good job to make sure he can bait his team outs properly to get them. Watson, he tried to do the same thing with his team, but not well enough. And now Red Reserve is just running away with the game. 60 points. Just imagine what those streaks could have done for the team. So Elevate, it's going to be an uphill climb from here on out.
I do want to point out, with Red Reserve needing just 39 points, Joe has a camo, and on day 1 and 2, I was giving him flack. I said, you might as well give it to Urban. He's the only player to guarantee that you're actually going to get camo in the respawns. Joe has it. When is he going to put it to use? Will he be able to make the most of it? Because Elevate, they got a bit of time on the drill. That's how they brought it back on the first rotation. So far, they've got the first 20 seconds. That strike from Joe is going to clear out 2 players. Now it's going to be a battle between the reinforcements. Joe's the man this game. Got streaks, has the camo, helping his team, nearly leading in slaying. Urban still taking that top spot for the moment. But either way, Red Reserve continually great game. Use the streaks to break the hill. That's exactly what you want to see. Joe trying to position himself as best he can on this hill. Looks like Elevate's going to be picking up quite a few of those kills. And you can see he didn't want to use the camo there. Probably had a couple good opportunities, but it looks like Urban doesn't matter. He's going to come and pick up 3, and he's going to give his team that scrap. And again, Red Reserve, the clock is just ticking down. They are so close to closing out game number 1. One more hill, and they could do it right here in the center of the map. Nile flying through the air is working with Joe and Shawnee. They all picked up kills. Watson, though, picking up 2, will now challenge Shawnee. Last player inside the hard point. 5 points to go here for Red Reserve. Can Watson stay alive? He's outgunned. Too many players there. Red Reserve strikes first. Game number 1, the hard point goes in their favor. And that's something that you're very happy to see if you're a Red Reserve fan. Again, Joe has definitely been struggling quite a bit this weekend, and for him to step it up like that,
convincing win. I mean, it resulted in an 80-point coming out on top. So great job all the way around. Earned streaks, earned camo. We didn't get to see the best use in the world out of it, but it doesn't matter when you get the mini kills.
The streaks definitely paid off, though. That's what they did to clear the drill. Right when it looked like Elevate was going to mount a comeback again, Joe single-handedly shut it down. He got in that position where he could just stay alive behind the box, constantly dipping and diving. And then they were able to finish in the middle. Urban, though, I continue to look at this guy and just think, is he in the running for best player in Europe? He has shown up big. The only bad games we saw from him came last night against Optic Gaming.
Yeah, there's quite a few European teams that kind of have that standout player. Dave is the standout for Epsilon. I know Moose was playing phenomenal, and it sort of seemed like his team just never had enough there to back him up. And Urban, been a bit of the same story where he's put on some monster performances, and his team just kind of lets him down and come up short. I mean, just the last series, he drops, what, 13 kills in a search and destroy, and they still end up losing the round 11. So, again, once you have that supporting cast step up, it goes a lot better for Red Reserve.
There's a look at the veterans, Rated and Reedy. They have played together in almost every single Call of Duty. And here's where they stand on the overall leaderboard for our next game mode, Search and Destroy. You can see Zed, he jumps up to number 2 on the Search and Destroy leaderboard. Reedy comes in at number 5 for Elevate. And then on the other side, you got Urban there at number 3, Niall and Joe coming in at 9 and 10. Zed, though, when you look at his first bloods, he's got 12 total. Most of those came from today.
Yeah, the first blood's obviously huge. You win something like 75, 80% of the rounds when you get the first blood. But Urban, still the standout player. I think, you know, he's tied for 3rd, was it, in the first blood category, but still have like a 1.59 KD or something.
Pretty good.
Lines. Yeah, monster performance, and he did the same thing back at Birmingham. He was best S&D player by far at the event. The guy's a tank, and again, I think the pistol in the back pocket helps him out quite a decent bit.
Every time we see him, he's dropping double digits in Surge. Can he get it done on Crusher? We're about to find out. This is game number 2, the battle for 3rd place in the green group. Who's going to lock in their spot in stage 2, as well as the Anaheim groups in Call of Duty Championships. We're one step closer, Red Reserve needing just 2 more wins.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that when you see the Europeans versus North Americans, there's always like a clash of styles, and you can always find one team catching the other off guard. Depending on how the map plays out, when you got the Europeans going against the Europeans, you don't see it nearly as much, just because they've played each other multiple times. They know what each other likes to do. So it's all about the meta game within the game. It's all about who can make those in-game adjustments as time progresses to try and get that extra advantage against your opponent.
Now, when we watched that game 5 versus Optic Gaming, Elevate, they had Zed playing pretty decent. Watson had some nice kills, but Rated just disappeared again. You can't do this in game number 2, especially after that first loss. Elevate is going to need the captain, the old man on the squad. You got Reedy, I think technically the captain, but Rated, he's kind of the one controlling the troops here for the squad. Will Elevate be able to battle back, or will they be facing elimination? Game number 2, just moments away. As we think about Crusher, we always see the B-bomb site, the camos coming into play late in the game. But out of these 2 teams, who do you think wins the indoor battle over at A?
Ooh, that's a tough call. I think I might have to get it to Red Reserve. They played very, very well. Search and Destroy was their dominant game mode back in Birmingham when they were going against the European teams. I think they have a 1-1 split against Elevate specifically, so again, it should be a close match. But when you got a guy like Urban, again, 1.59 KD, he's been ridiculous. Got to give him the edge.
Doesn't matter what guns he's using, most likely sticking to the K-bar. Is there a sniper on either of these teams that you're looking out for? We saw Watson bring it out on throwback.
Watson has pulled it out. I know Rated's pulled it out in the past. Honestly, it's up to preference. Normally, you're only going to see that sniper overlook mid-map, and it's normally going to only be good for a round or 2, just trying to catch the other team off guard, letting them know that you have that sniper presence to kind of eliminate them from showing up in mid-map. You see it occasionally, someone on back rock on defense pulling it out, but a little bit more rare to see.
When we did watch Enigma 6 versus Red Reserve in this game mode, it was Proto absolutely shutting down Red Reserve with mid-map control using that sniper rifle. Urban would always position himself in the middle to try and defend. This time around, we'll see, will he be contested in that position? Reedy is on your screen first. He's got the EMC out. And that means we may see a sniper right away as it's Elevate on the attack.
Yeah, and instead of going for mid-map control, he's actually going to be trying to snipe the player that goes back rock, because if you play almost every single time, there's always going to be a player there. Missing 2 shots, though, as you see, Red Reserve, they're flooding. They're all the way in crates. They're going to be coming out the challenge. Reed finally able to get the kill. Urban going to trade, and the snipers all the way in the back. They might have known he had that presence, and they did not care. They flew at him. It's the right call.
That's the gamble, right? If you miss your first or second shot, though, you can just see how quickly your team is behind. All of a sudden, you have Red Reserve up in your face, and even if you get the 1 pick like he did, there's going to be too many players to take down. Red Reserve striking first, Elevate now on defense. And we'll see where this bomb decides to go. It's going to be in the hands of Nile.
Man, now I feel awkward. I talk about how the sniper presence is normally over mid-map, and they're electing just to hold it over crate side. You do see it a little bit, but you see there might actually be counter-aggression coming on the defensive side. Once again, a bunch of players stacked up, Reedy and Rated. Each of them are able to pick up a kill. One on the wall run, one on crate side. Oh, Nade's going to even things out and give us that 2v2.
We need a trophy system down. Not working out there, as it looks like Red Reserve will have to rotate back. Nile picked up the most recent kill using the flechette grenades. And it will be Rated and Watson up for Elevate on the defensive end. Nile checking every single corner. Joe's watching the flank as they start to slowly creep towards A.
Yeah, you see they're just waiting for their opponents to make a mistake. Elevate has that setup, waiting for the B-bomb site. They're checking either side. It does appear that Red Reserve, they're going to be moving towards A. Again, those close-range engagements can go down so quick, but they have the free plant available. I don't know if they're going to try and wrap all the way around or just get it down, and that's going to be the case.
Elevate's watching both entrances over at B. In about 3 seconds, they'll know we have to jump into action. Rated's going to lead the charge. Watson will be directly behind him. Players currently not in a position to split, and Red Reserve, they've gotten out of dodge. They're moving quite far from the bomb.
Yeah, and the tricky spot, the tricky thing about where they planted that bomb is you can see it from pretty much anywhere. You can see it from all the way in the back of the building. You can come around and watch it from out the back door. You can also check it from you. So Rated and crew have a lot that they need to clear out. You see Joe's all the way in the backside. Nile's going to be playing in you, and it looks like he's come up behind a player. He's able to pick up one, has the second in front of him. Watson able to take it down, but again, time is just not on Watson's side. Hunts down Joe. Doesn't matter, doesn't win the gunfight, but that is just prime bomb location.
Well done by Red Reserve. Elevate may be running out of gas, and there's a frustrated Watson after falling at the hands of Joe. Great kill with the ERAD. Is Joe still running for the camo here? Sometimes he and Nile switch it up.
I didn't actually see. Definitely something to think about. Again, that's one of those things where Urban clearly has the best KD. It's actually Nile that takes it, but Urban has the best KD. I think in the future it might be worth giving him that best payload, but we're going to see. You see the sniper this time actually coming out for the mid-map presence, but if you don't hit your shots, it doesn't really matter, and Rated's going to be able to get that first blood onto Joe.
Watson still chasing down 2 players, pulls out the ERAD, gets Shawnee. And Elevate, 2-man advantage will put this bomb down. In comes Urban. He's flying through, picks off Zed with the headshot, backs out with his life. Nile getting into position to strike at the same time. They're going to go for a coordinated pinch here, trying to target Watson.
Well, the spot that the bomb got planted in this time means that definitely Elevate's going to be playing on the backside. You see Nile's going on for the flank. He's going to have to find a couple kills. He's able to get the first one, but you see Urban's going to fall inside of you, and now Nile just going to run too far. There's way too many spots he has to check with not enough time. So again, you get that first blood, you win the round.
First blood, get the bomb planted, take the offense. Nile falling in your round-ending kill cam at the hands of Rated. And smile back on the face of Watson. So frustrated with their loss to Optic Gaming, but I asked him, how do you feel about this matchup? He says, we got this. Playing with a lot of confidence here. Keep your eyes on Watson. He's been one of the stars from Europe for several years. On your screen right now, though, it's Urban with the K-bar. He is going to be looking to cover the bomb carrier. It's in the hands of Nile once again as they want to get him to that camo as quick as possible.
Well, Elevate's playing very, very aggressive. They're giving up the bomb plan on B. Number 300 minimap, Zed is watching the cross to see what happens. The remaining players for Elevate are going on the backside on the flank, and you see Watson, he gets that first pick, and now Red Reserve is trapped. They think there's going to be pressure behind them, and if they cross out front, they're going to get spotted. So Elevate, yes, they give up the bomb plant, but they should be able to re-break this with the information they get.
They're up a man, right? Joe got caught off guard by Watson in the middle of the map. He's supposed to watch the flank, played a little too aggressive and got punished. Urban's going to get one. Can he get out with his life? No, Zed reacts. It's a 3-on-2. Elevate still up a guy. Over at the bomb, here's the fight. Rated wins it versus Nile. Can't jump on the bomb right away. Now there's the final kill. Watson is going to pick up 2 this round, helps with the 3rd, and the defuse has plenty of time. Elevate, they were down early, brings it back, ties it up, 2-2.
Defuse is key as well, giving that to Rated. Again, trying to get closer and closer to that active camo payload. I'd have to say best payload in the game. That's the one you want. Yep. You want your most clutch player to have that in every situation that can have available. Either way, though, again, pretty close game, you'd have to say. A little bit of back and forth. Tied up 2-2. Looks like on the offensive side, Elevate once again going towards that B-bomb side.
Rated, we touched on his weakness in search earlier in the day. Currently leading the team at 4-2, right next to Watson, who's at 5-2. And here comes Rated with this bomb. Looking for an intro pick, doesn't see a challenger, immediately throwing it down. Elevate ready because they know everyone from Red Reserve is about to hit. Here it comes. Nile gets the first pick. Urban jumping over his opponent, but Zed is going to punish him. Payload shut down. It's going to be Nile and Shawnee left alive versus a camo Rated and Reedy, and Rated has them lined up. Picks up one. Shawnee survives, but not for long. Elevate takes the round.
Solid play. Use the camo, win the round. The bomb gets planted, but of course, the camo pretty much decides the situation most of the time. Rated having a pretty good use. Reedy does have to get the cleanup kill, but hey, that's just more points for everybody. So no harm, no foul.
They got set up early. They knew the push was going to come. They reacted properly. Urban almost caused problems with the FTL jump. Nice plays by Zed to stay focused, lock him down, and give Elevate the advantage. Here we go, though. It's round number 6, fresh start. Everyone from Elevate, they're going to stack up at A. They see nothing now. It's a 4-man sprint back over to the B-bomb site.
So we're going to see Red Reserve probably just going to get this down right away. You actually see the Trinity Rocket's going to get called in, and now that means they have to scatter. They have to fly in the back hanger, and everybody's going to be waiting. Watson able to get that first pick, and, well, you get first blood, you win the round. The other players got forced to back off, so that Trinity Rocket, again, was huge.
And Nile, he went into full panic mode there, charged right into 4 players and drops the bomb. So Red Reserve, you're basically hoping Urban can pull off this 1v3. 3 defenders. He's got to loop around for the bomb. 40 seconds left on the clock, but this is going to be so difficult. I'm a bit surprised to see Elevate just leaving the bomb on the ground, though.
At the same time, they're sticking together pretty well. Rated's leading the charge quite a bit farther. Now, actually, they're going to be splitting up a little bit. So, again, if you group in a 3v1, makes it incredibly difficult to pull off. So, Urban obviously has his work cut out for him. He's just playing for kills.
Here come the Velociraptors, but Urban, he's got plenty of shots here. Will he be able to pick up some fast kills? Elevate has found the bomb. They have set it all up, and they are just waiting for the push. On the other side of this wall is going to be Rated to Urban's left, and Rated is going to walk right into this shot. Urban has earned himself another FTL, but he will not win this round.
And that's fine. It's a good play. You see Urban not just going to jump off the map. He doesn't have to worry about the bomb blowing up, nothing like that. Knows he's going to lose. 1v3, incredibly difficult. Elevate has to throw those away. But it's important. You're able to get that kill. You earn the FTL. And you have that in your back pocket for whenever you need it.
Crusher continues into round number 7. Elevate. They were down 2-1, now in the lead 4-2. Sniper back out for Reedy. He's playing with confidence and he's missing again. It's Nile who is going to survive, and after that missed shot, everyone rotates back to A. They see the 4 stack over at the B-bomb site. A is now wide open. Rated's going to call that out. He's going to go and look for the new pinches as we have players in transition. He's going to find everyone around this corner.
Well, Red Reserve is wasting absolutely no time. They just rotated back insanely quickly. Meanwhile, Elevate, they're kind of caught off guard. They have no information. They have no idea whether or not their entire team is stacked up at B. So I'd assume they're going to be playing it a little bit slowly. You see the players encroaching on the bomb. Rated, though,
so
sneaky
smart
position, able to just hide in a corner, lets players jump out in front. And you see Reed's able to pick up the kill with the sniper as well. But all the information he just got just won his team the round.
Joe now in a similar situation that we just saw. Urban, you're the last man standing. You don't expect the round. He's able to pick up 1 kill, but Elevate is now on game point. And Elevate, I think if you put the bomb down over at A, you have a chance of winning this round. Rated, he also gave himself an opportunity. He let 3 people run by, but he was only able to turn that into 1 kill. And the rest of the squad was able to jump into it, as you saw Reedy and Watson all over the feed. But now, Red Reserve, they have to win 4 straight. Let's start things off here with Urban. The attack going directly into A. And And they're going to be met by grenades. Watson gets first blood. Elevate total control after Rated picks up Nile.
And that's huge. Elevate pretty much has secured the round. Urban not even able to trade out a single kill. They just get run over. Elevate with a commanding performance. And it goes back, those in-game adjustments. I mean, just rewind a single round. Rated puts himself in a fantastic position, decides, all right, I'm going to wait here, make the play, let my team do the rotation back to be on their own, and I'm going to try and catch someone off guard. And small decisions like that paid off throughout the map. Elevate looking pretty good in Search.
Pretty solid. Rough start in the hard point. Good answer back here in Search and Destroy. That means we are even going into Uplink game number 3. If you're just joining us, this is the last battle between our 2 European squads. They're coming in the 3rd and 4th position in the green group. And this match decides it all for them. Who is going to lock in that 3rd place? Who is going to have to play for their lives at relegation before Anaheim?
It's really tough to call. Honestly, it could go either way. Elevate's kind of had a thing where they're playing to their level of competition, I would say. Obviously start off terribly in the group, but then they go against Optic, and both times play incredibly close. But then they play against, your E6 Red Reserve, and they fall to them too. So they've just struggled to kind of have that full-on team performance. Obviously, though, if they're going to put it together, it might as well be this series.
2 games in the books. Game 3 coming up when we come back. Welcome back. This is the G Fuel key player matchup as we head into Uplink. Red Reserve Shani going up against Reedy from Elevate. There you can see their KDs. A bit of a different. Shani always involved in the scores, but it's been Reedy in the kill feed with a 1.64.
Yeah, pretty good as well. You saw earlier pulled out the Ripper on Scorch. Frost, very submachine gun heavy map. Sometimes you see 4 E-Rads even get pulled out. So Reedy, great player to watch.
Those are your 2 players to keep eyes on. It's your G Fuel key player matchup as we head into Uplink. Primetime continues. There is a live look at the Elevate squad that just answered back with a big win on Crusher, Search and Destroy. So we're all tied up going into this one. It's Frost Uplink, and if you look at all of the maps, all of the game types, all of the game modes, this map leads to the most kills out of them all, especially when you look at it per minute. Let's take a look at our leaderboard coming into this Uplink chance. We just saw Reedy with a 1.64 KD. He's got to be pretty high in our top 10.
Yeah, and I know Rated's going to be up there as well. Every time we talk about Uplink, we talk about him. So Elevate, just based on those 2 players, even very well might have the edge. Of course, Red Reserve, never going to count them out. Again, these European squad, it's going to be that head-to-head, but there you go, Rated. He's sitting atop that list at a 1.64. He's up there by a mile.
I was really confused how Reedy jumped up there real quick. Now it makes more sense. It's Rated with the 1.64, the double R's. 0.8 carries, 0.2 tosses. Really, he's going to leave that up to guys like Reedy and Zed to do the scoring. On the other side for Red Reserve, keep your eyes on Urban. He's been their best player throughout Respawn. But really, it's going to be Shani. We talked about his 0.93. This is supposed to be your young gun. This is the up-and-comer from Scotland who is trying to slay everybody out. Will he be able to get the kills, knowing that he's going to have to work with the E-Rad only?
And again, you'd hope he does if you're a Red Reserve fan. Again, Urban, he's always been on form, but he needs that supporting cast. In game number 1, it was Joe. Joe stepped up to the plate, and they had a pretty commanding win. If it's going to be Shani this game, even better. The more the merrier. But again, Red Reserve, they definitely need that team collective performance. And Frost very well might be the map to do it.
Here's a look at the series so far. Started off on Scorch Hardpoint, where you saw Joe dropping some big streaks that gave them the win, 250 to 170. Game number 2, though, it was all Elevate in the Search and Destroy. Their sniper picks didn't always work, but the teamwork was there. They got a lot of great trade kills and kills in transition. It seemed that they kind of outsmarted Red Reserve in some of those rounds.
Yeah, and again, the in-game adjustments are always key as well. You're not going to see as many in Frost, but the shot calling is always important about what direction do we want to push. Do we need to waste time? Do you have enough time to hit that 1-point toss, or can you go for 2? I think that's actually a problem Elevate had earlier on this map. They had about 1 minute and 20 seconds left or something like that to score 4 points. You see Bombardment getting called out, and the play call that came in the final seconds was just hit the 1-point toss, but that gave them 30 seconds to score 3 points, and it wasn't enough to make the comeback. So again, those final moments, those in-game decisions, whoever the shot caller is, they have to be completely on form, because one wrong call can cost you a game.
Payloads are going to be huge here as well. Reactive can help you go in for at least a 1-point toss. A camo normally leads to a dunk, and then we'll see what is going to happen with the remainder of the players. Watson most likely going to pull back out his overdrive. He was so good on Precinct with that payload. It could be devastating on a map like Frost.
Yeah, overdrive can just completely catch you off guard. You can even, so the way that works, the drone over your head, the symbol that tells the entire other team where you are pops up every 3 seconds. So if you ever have that internal count of when you pick up that drone, if you know when that message is popping up, you can time that overdrive perfectly to completely juke out the other team. It's something you don't see very often, and it's difficult to do in game. But again, if he picks that up instantly, lets that pop up overhead, and then pops the overdrive and zooms a complete different direction, again, it could result in a pretty big dunk.
Here comes the swing game on board with Joe to open things up. He played so well on Scorch Hardpoint, one of the closer ranged maps. Now he's got another one here on Frost. Around the corner to his right, it's going to be Watson. Here's a first big gunfight, and it's going in favor of Watson. Zed also in the kill feed there. Zed with the double, Watson with the third, and Reedy already with drone in hand wants to score in the first 30 seconds. 1-0 lead. Elevate makes it count.
Very good play. Again, they only got 3 kills. It results in a point. That's huge. The only opportunity they've had so far converted into points, and that is obviously going to be a factor as time goes on. Now, this is an opportunity for Red Reserve. They got the drone. They have the control. Rated, though, was able to pick up 2. Reed's going to get another one. And, of course, that drone just going to get reset. Urban, pops him in the face, but again, it doesn't really matter in the end because that drone was already gone.
Pistol punch combo coming in from Urban, though. That is a good early sign. They almost struck right there. Urban throws the drone forward and then responds to the players behind him. This time around, he's going to lead the charge as it's Nile running the drone. Reedy was able to get a pick, but Urban and Shawnee are there continuing to support. This is a dunk. There we go, 2-1. Red Reserve takes the lead here after a minute 20.
And Shawnee was that guy. He was able to get all the way to that far right side of the minimap in the base, just underneath that portal. He was able to pick up 2 kills. Clearing out the base makes for easy points. Elevate, though, this time, instead of going over towards blue, over towards ice, they're going to try and go through the submachine room, and they're able to pick up quite a few kills as well. Urban's going to slow him down for a moment, but of course, Rated already in position with his teammate, just trying to clear out, picks up the kill on Joe, and that puts in that 1-point play.
Fantastic stuff from Rated leading this charge. He switched over from his K-Bar, his NV4, to an ERAD. Watson, meanwhile, he's been controlling the middle of the map with the K-Bar very well. Here's another kill from Watson. 5 straight for each player. There's the dish, there's the dunk. We're talking about score streaks now. 75 points or 1 kill away now for Rated, and he should be able to lock in his bombardment. Watson looking for his as well.
Well, Watson not actually going to be able to finish that kill. It looks like Red Reserve is going to be able to stop the bleeding for a moment as they clear out their base. But again, it's going to be tough. They got to fight all the way back through. They got to get another set of kills. And of course, that drone down in a bit of a sticky situation. But again, all about that control. Who's going to get that next wave of kills?
And I'm pretty sure that both players were held to just Trinity rockets, which is huge because you had a potential to have 2 bombardments. You were 175 points away total from seeing bombardments on the map. Instead, it's just rockets to work with when it comes to score strengths. Let's take a look, though, back at Rated 9-3. Trying to charge in versus 3 players. They will be overpowered, all 4. Gunfights going in favor of Red Reserve coming off the spawn. Reedy's going to go low and try and flank, but no, Joe is too smart. They're going to catch him in transition. Now it's Red Reserve trying to put points on the board, but those 2 kills are going to make it so difficult.
Urban, though, he's going to be able to open it up. He picks up the only kill that he needs to open up a lane for his teammates. So again, clutch plays, and Urban's always going to be the name that we shout when that happens. Sitting atop the leaderboard right now at 10 kills. Of course, he's tied with Watson and Rated, but again, Joe, he's the guy, 2-10. You can't be having that if you're trying to win the respawns. He's going to need to step it up once again for the team.
I didn't even realize how poorly Joe is playing. That is rough, simply getting outgunned. Zed doing it this most recent attempt. Watson on your screen gets the melee. That was the only defender in position for the middle here. Now Watson can gear up behind Rated, who's going to lead the charge. Score streaks coming in. Trinity rockets are coming down. It forces everyone back. Rated, he picks up Nile, but he also kills this drone carrier.
Yeah, that is some pretty weird Trinity rocket placement, honestly. I mean, he was doing the slow wall run up top, so, I mean, that must have had to been pinpoint. Meanwhile, Urban doesn't care about that. He's trying to get points of his own. Tried to do a little bit too much. He was by himself trying to make the play, and he is going to get cut short. But, I don't know, frankly, I'm happy with that. If I'm Red Reserve, they burn the streaks and they get no points, and you might very well be going into the second half with a very tight game.
And at this point, I think you're just kind of laughing at Rated, saying, what are you doing with these streaks? You're playing for our team, Red Reserve. They were down 2, make it a 1-possession game with a 1-point toss. They can take a lead with a dunk. And now you see the kill feed, though. It's Elevate winning the fights in the middle. Reedy and Watson working so well together. Rated's going to pick up 2 with his ERAD, and he is going to escort this drone. Down goes Rated, but there's still a lead blocker. Reedy's going to lead the charge. 1-point toss goes up. Back to a 2-point advantage as we lead into the half. Elevate in control early on, but we switch sides, and I think we're going to start seeing Red Reserve come back in this game, Chance.
Very possibly, but again, players like Joe, they're going to have to step it up because Elevate is just dominating in that slaying category. They've had control of the drone for, I'd have to imagine, 75–80% of this game. So when you apply that much pressure, those scoring opportunities are just going to create themselves. We saw on the flip side of things, Red Reserve, they had, what, 3, maybe 4 chances to score. They're able to pull it off in 2 of those, but again, it's just not going to be enough. They really need to turn up.
And I think you just saw Joe look at his score line and see himself and Shawnee. Shawnee had a big play that led to early points for Red Reserve. Other than that, he's been pretty much a non-factor on the map. Both players basically 12-29 kills to death. Here comes the drone, though. It's Red Reserve on the attack. They have the drone in hand, and they could go in for a dunk. Shawnee's going to force it through, and just like that, 24 seconds in, we got a tie game.
Opening breaks are huge. We saw Elevate do it on the first side, scored a 1-point shot in the first 30 seconds. Red Reserve, they flipped that script, and again, they only hit a pick up like 4 kills to make that happen, and it results in a very quick dunk. So you said the second side, they're going to be turning stuff around. That very well may be the case for Red Reserve. See Shawnee right now trying to play, again, in that nuisance spot, past that 50-yard line in his opponent's base. However, he is going to get sniffed out by Zed.
And I think we just saw that Reedy finish the last round on a 6-kill streak, picked up his 7th. Here in the second half, so he's going to be working on streaks. Yes, he's 25 points, a single assist away from getting a bombardment. Challengers all over these boxes. He's just trying to stay alive. There's the kill. Fully streaked out is Reedy. Rated also in the feed as they are locking down the sub bay. Drone is going to be scooped up here by Watson, but they need the kills first. Here is a new set of respawns. Urban and Joe down, but Nile and Shawnee still in their way.
Well, now you see what Red Reserve's game plan is. They were tossing that drone over to push through ice, but looks like they're actually going to get trapped. And, well, they throw the drone, but Reedy's just going to pick it right back up. You see he's fully streaked out, has the overdrive as well, and it looks like that's what he's going for. Clear out the base of their opponent, force them to inside position so you know where they are. Let your teammates get the kills and try and score some points. See, they're able to pick up 2. Joe, actually, though, is able to pick a 2-piece. That's going to open it up. Reedy is going to pop the overdrive. For some reason, he just ran into the full team of Red Reserve, and they shut that down.
Even though they lose that fight, it's still a 20-kill advantage. If you add up all the numbers, Elevate has been slaughtering Red Reserve. Somehow, the scoreboard is still tied, though. When will Elevate start converting these pushes into points? Watson's going to lead this charge. Zed is there, but the last man standing is going to slow him down. Watson is going to pick up the kill on Joe, and now we got the drone pushing up here. Trinity Rocket still available for Reedy. Is he going to call it? Will Watson be able to put points on the board? It's not looking like it. Both defenses holding strong.
Reedy and Rated, the RR duo, again, leading the charge in slaying, both at 23 kills. Rated's got that camo. This has got to be a dunk, guaranteed points. As a player over top, doesn't even try and pop it, just goes for the kill. And you see, they burned the Trinity Rocket. They had camo. This is the second time they've used streaks and got nothing. They picked up the kills, but no points.
Watson did pick up 3 kills, though, so they should have total map control. And Watson is just going to say, hey, Robo Bay is clear, run through, use the score streaks, push them back. Looks like this time around it was Reedy's Trinity Rocket called in. Now the camo's been invested. So quite a bit of investments in the last minute just to get 2 points. But at the end of it all, Elevate leads by 2 with 1:50 to go.
It didn't look good, but it did work in the end. So again, time ticking down. Red Reserve, though, on the attack. You see, Nile does have his payload to work with. They're going to be looking to get him the drone. Joe, though, going to be leading that charge. And there you see, he does have overdrive in hand, but he's indecisive. He can't decide what to do. Might be going for a sneaky play, but frankly, they can't waste time. They're the ones that are down in points.
Nile just trying to wall run as long as he can. Gets the double jump back up. He comes back from the dead. He's got 3 teammates to escort him. He's going to get right behind Shawnee, the lead blocker. Here comes the overdrive. Shawnee's going to body block. Here comes the dunk. He falls, but the score still comes in. It's not a 2-pointer, but that 1 point will bring him close.
And again, kind of another sloppy play with the payload, but it worked out. He wasted enough time while sitting there and wall running down and kind of baiting out. The enemy expected the drone to be there, and he took it in a different direction as his team pushed out ice. Still, though, minute left. That is going to be 3 kills. Now make it all 4 in favor. Joe's going to be the one leading the charge. Red Reserve, they need to get some points.
And as you say that, Joe picks up the kill on Watson. So Joe struggling to slay in the first half. He picks up the important kills here in the second half. And we have Red Reserve on top by just 1 point, 35 seconds to go. Red Reserve just keeps pushing this drone back out towards ice. They're trying to make it so difficult for Elevate to get to that satellite.
And that's got to be game, right? They can just pick it up and wall run with it. They can do any number of things to waste as much time as possible. Joe has that drone in hand and Rated. They got to hunt down the kills fast. But again, it's just the time is the factor at this point. They kill the drone. It's got to reset. You see number 1 on your minimap, Reedy. He's trying to go as far as he can, but with 7 seconds left, what can you really do?
7 seconds is all it takes on this map, but Reedy already celebrating. He pops the Zippo. He knows it is done. Red Reserve, they're going to come back. Man, you could just see Elevate falling apart there in the final moments. They invested 2 Trinity Rockets and a camo. They go up by 2. But then they start getting outslayed at the end. They get pushed back into their base, and Red Reserve walks away with the late game victory. Chance, what were the big turning points for you in that second half?
Really just failed to take advantage of the scoring opportunities that they created. I mean, Red Reserve got outslayed by like 10 or 15 kills, something along those lines, but when they had an opportunity to score, they did. And we already saw it. Reedy calls in the bombardment, gets nothing out of it. Uses the overdrive, gets nothing out of it. Uses the Trinity rockets, nothing out of it. It took 2 sets of streaks, and then even the active camo just to get 2 points on the board. Way too much invested for not nearly enough points. And then, of course, on the flip side, overdrive. Overdrive got them the point. That was all they needed. And then they kept that pressure on just enough time to get those 2 points in.
Elevate, they started off IW pretty strong. Since then, it's been a downward spiral. Meanwhile, on the other end, Red Reserve, they continue to improve. They placed 5th, 6th at our last event, and Dallas now trying to lock in a 3rd place finish here in the green group. Before we get to game number 4, let's take a look at how our teams got here today.
Red Reserve has gone through a lot of changes this season. At the beginning of the Infinite Warfare season, the organization was without a team, but they obtained the Complexity roster following CWL Vegas. Prior to CWL Atlanta, the former Complexity roster announced they would not be representing Red Reserve after the event, leading to Red Reserve's purchase of Orbit. That meant Joe, Rated, Urban, and Zero would be operating under their banner. However, the team would not stay together long. The team felt the impact of EU roster mania following CWL Paris, leaving them with a roster of Joe, Urban, Nile, and Shani to compete at CWL Dallas. In the 2Ks leading up to Dallas, the new roster finished 1st and 2nd in the 2 tournaments, going from a question mark to a dark horse at CWL Dallas. Their tough pull sent them to the losers bracket, where their run to finish top 6 was incredibly impressive. They managed to take out Supremacy, Fnatic, Enigma 6, and Evil Geniuses, before ultimately falling to European counterpart Splice, in what was one of the best finishes by a European team in Infinite Warfare thus far.
Major credit to Red Reserve for making that one a very, very close match when it came down to that last hardpoint.
The current incarnation of this team will be defined by the aforementioned losers bracket run at CWL Dallas. But what really gives them promise moving forward is their success in Search and Destroy. Not a single player on the squad finished Dallas above a 1.0 KD in respawn game modes. Their statistics in S&D, however, are almost the polar opposite of a team like Luminosity in North America. Shani jumps to a 1.13, Joe to a 1.14, and Urban to a 1.13. Keep an eye on Red Reserve's performance in this game mode, as they won 75% of their S&Ds at CWL Dallas. Teams that are strong in S&D have the ability to steal a series from many top teams. However, if they want to consistently hang with the world's best, they must fix their respawn woes. Tune in on May 12th to 14th to see if Red Reserve can continue to build on their momentum in Stage 1 of the Global Pro League.
That was a look at how Red Reserve got here today. Here's a look at some updated stats. Their hardpoint win rate, 33% coming into this series. They didn't win a single uplink before that last massive victory on Frost. And what's most surprising to me, Chance, is to remind everybody that we were looking at 6 kills and 7 kills between Joe and Shani as the second half kicked off. They somehow come out in the second half and pull away with a win.
And that slaying power is going to be what they need. They can't afford to have an inconsistent performance like that on Retaliation. Again, Retaliation, if you outslay your opponent, you win. Those hardpoint win rates are just atrocious, but again, they've been going against E6 and Uplink Gaming, who have been picking them both apart. The head-to-head, again, expect that to be a lot closer. And on this map specifically, we're going into Retaliation. We actually saw E6 just played Red Reserve, relatively close game. Red Reserve ended up falling short by about 40 points. Again, if you recall, some big plays coming in from N Ruiz. That's got to be in the back of their minds. They know that those rotations are key. They have to shut players down and not allow big plays to come in. And of course, Elevate, well, they want to be those big playmakers.
All right, just a reminder for myself and everyone else watching at home, the Red Reserve team, yeah, we made them blue this game. Elevate, they will be wearing red. And we are on board with Watson as he is going to open up with some grenades. Reedy's going to find first blood. It's traded out, but that kill should give Elevate the advantage to break in.
And credit to Watson as well. He's had a pretty good series so far. Of course, he's going to need to turn up for the team as well. And you see that's what he's going for, trying to pick up 3. Reedy's going to be there in support of his teammate. But again, always these closely contested starts. It's going to be all about that rotation over lower street.
Elevate against Optic Gaming on this same map was able to control bridge pretty well. They had a nice first round of rotations, and honestly, if you think about Elevate's road to this point, People were counting them out coming into day 3. No one thought they would do anything against Optic, but going all the way to a game 5 put them in this situation where if they win this series, they can take 3rd place away from Red Reserve. You can't go all this way and then fall apart right here. You need a big game 4. You need to force another tiebreaker search.
And it would be massive, and they had to start to just do just that. Again, Bridge, normally it's tough to get a lot of time. They just got 40 seconds, so that's pretty impressive stuff. And more importantly, they got the break to lower street as well. So things continue to get better and better for the squad. You got to expect it to potentially continue. And weirdly enough, Urban, actually, he had the slow start at 0-4. Yes, he put his first kill on the board, but for the moment, it's not going to be enough.
55 and counting to just 4 points. I'd love to switch over to our Elevate side and go in with some team comms.
I'm in back.
Well, plat. On top of you. 1 bullet, Reese. Fucking rape him.
I only have 6 bullets left. 25
Still there,
seconds. Someone go back.
Yeah,
Someone go back.
yeah.
You good, yeah?
One score me, get into this corner.
He's absolute on plat. Dead.
One's in, Joe,
Go, back up.
Joe's absolute, gonna heal. New hill.
Oh, this is 3. Get into
Yeah,
market.
get all that
Get into
time.
market.
Get all
Get into
that time,
market. Pull your lives. Dave Marsh with a spawn bridge.
Goes back there. You got me, there's 2. Pushing the back, Wise, play your life now.
He kills you.
He was a bit further back, Jordan.
Alright, cool. Joe's gonna spawn behind me. One's in hill.
Come bedroom.
Joe's gonna spawn behind me, broken. Yeah, he's behind me. I'm dead, by the way. Ads, 2.
Back left,
2 ads.
back left, absolute. One push me ads, Dave, I couldn't do much.
Right.
Just gonna get fucking
Yeah, he's
bombed.
gonna-
No, good here.
We're spawning bridge,
Yeah, 3 of them. We're looking at me, man.
Pin low.
Get inside. He's hitting you on the street
Yeah,
right here.
Joe's absolute.
Just take our time, get close, Zach, wait. I'm in lads now.
We need to kill Joe.
I'm focusing, yeah, Joe's on 3.
Fuck, Joe's in.
Elevate built up a nice lead, 84 points on the board, but it's been Red Reserve all over this cathedral. They won the rotation battle and just didn't look like Elevate had anything set up to break. That's now 3 failed pushes.
Yeah, and Red Reserve, again, just 1 hill is all it takes on Retaliation. Turning this game around quite substantially, they find themselves in a much better position than they were before. They're going to have to break a hill once again, though. Elevate in control of that broken. You see, though, players spawning out all the way on the opposite side of the map. It's going to turn into a bit of a foot race. Red Reserve needs to put on the pressure.
Here comes Shani trying to break through. Urban in the feed as well. Joe's gonna fall, but you got your key slayers in power positions, and Reedy is gonna stop them both. Niall and Shani eliminated, and this is gonna be an Elevate hill. Urban is still alive. You had Joe spawning up pretty close, but if Joe doesn't get it done right here, Niall and Shani are so far away.
Yeah, very good hold so far. You see Reedy's on the 4 streak as well. He's creeping closer and closer to those streaks. But either way, more importantly than the streaks, the score, Elevate. They retook it. Obviously, Red Reserve back on Cemetery. Started to close the gap just a little bit, but nope. They blow the game wide open once again and again. 75 points before he gets to those Trinity Rockets.
I think Reedy's been their best player. He's been their most consistent player for Elevate throughout this weekend. Again, he jumps out to a fantastic start, 12-5. He's working on these streaks, so look for him to play a little bit slower here as he knows he needs just about 2-3 kills to get to that bombardment.
Well, while he is playing slow, his entire team just died. Now he's 75 away from the bombardment, so it's one of those games. You risk not putting on that hill pressure, so you give up a few points, hopefully in exchange for streaks, which you can use later on to blow them open. And those Trinity Rockets could be very huge. Again, that Cemetery Hill, you can break it just with that. That you can single-handedly open that up for your team. Red Reserve, though, meanwhile, all the hill pressure in the world. Niall's been inside, racking up all sorts of time. Moved up to 1 minute and 12 seconds inside the hill.
And Joe, we talked about his struggles in Uplink. Well, he turned it on in the second half. He led to some late points and helped his team clutch up a game number 3. He's going big now. He was 13-11 at 13-13 currently, but keep your eyes on Joe. If he continues to slay, things are going to look good for Red Reserve. Niall spotting out Zed, going to take him off the bridge. They're setting up for the new hill. It's about to rotate. Niall is here first. Points going to be secured, and Joe is looking to push out these spawners. He doesn't know it yet, though, but Elevate is coming from the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be Elevate's game to lose. They got about a 50-point lead. They got the streaks in the back pocket. Red Reserve, though, in control of the hill. Earlier on, we saw Elevate actually pulled 40 seconds on this very hill. Red Reserve trying to do the exact same thing in return. Niles actually turned up a little bit, definitely had a slow start, and just working back again. You can't afford to have a player having a slow performance like this. It's going to cost the team, so if he can turn around, that's exactly what Red Reserve is going to need from him.
Nile went from silent to now causing problems, and I'd love to hear the communication on the other side of the stage. Let's crank it up with Red Reserve.
Two from me, close.
One more.
One more. I'm pulling the hill.
As well.
Oh, you got me. Got me now.
That's right, let's go.
I'm no.
Need to play next.
Then back, I'm behind him.
Let's focus on the Gravehold.
Nice. Might be
Let's play that verts bar.
Wait.
Play.
Get plat, come plat.
Watch out, man. On hill, plat.
Zed's weak plat. I spawn by.
He's
He's close, I think he's close left. I think he's underneath.
He's needing me on plat. I'm on lobby curve.
Mark it dead. No one hill. You got me in hill. Yeah, it was close stairs.
There's 2 in plat then. Reedy and, no, Reese.
Yeah, plat.
Bedroom.
I spawn back broken.
Bedroom.
Bedroom dead.
I'm watching bedroom, Pete.
Alright, kill that plat guy.
On top of the platform.
Watch it, one hit. One head.
Push on.
Well,
We
2
can
plat, 2 plat.
I'm gonna try and flank through.
Yeah, flank
Right, 30
early
seconds.
spawns.
They've pushed out Scarf.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of need this time as well.
Yeah, we need to play this.
You still do it.
One nade from like bedroom.
Wait, Zach quick.
Plat.
Pushing up.
There's two plat.
Bedroom
2
dead.
a plat, 2 a plat.
It's on a 5, don't feed dead. Get to next, get to new, we can still do this. They got no streaks.
Let's make market. I'm getting off time then.
I'm playing curve.
I don't think I mark it. I can't see him on
I
mark.
can't see him.
Front hill, let's shoot without you.
Scarf.
Close,
Mark it now, we need.
Close.
I killed him.
Mark it, we need mark it. That's one hill, I got time. He's mark it, he was mark it.
I'm gonna flank P2.
Who's Reedy you looking for? Ah, he's in the channel.
He's streaking. Marcus says weak.
You got me.
Reese is back bedroom.
Do Marcus steps. Three. Remarcus steps.
Clear our spawn.
I spawned on street,
That's one street. I'm gonna play low P1.
Here come the score streaks, and you heard the comms. They're streaking. First one coming in, now the second. It's Reedy this time around, and he's going to find 3 kills back-to-back. Great uses of streaks as Elevate breaks the hill. And look at Reedy in this game, 27-9, saying, boys, get in the backpack. We are going to crush our way through.
Yep, Reedy pretty much just won them that game. On an 11 streak, has a minute 50 in the hill, leading the lobby in slang. As an FDL, that's kind of worthless at this point, but what more could you ask for? He turned up. Again, Elevate, their backs were against the wall. They need this win. They were down 2-1, and pretty masterful performance coming out of Reedy.
You talk to the European players who are some of the greats of all time. Reedy definitely has to be on the top 10 list from the UK. Showing up big here on the final day. Elevate needed to force a Game 5, and that is exactly where we're headed after his massive performance on Retaliation.
And again, it's just going to be the question of how well can they keep up that momentum. Both teams in their comms honestly sound kind of dead. There's not a lot of energy on either side. Small talk was a little bit better from both sides, still talking about, hey, they're spawning here. These are the rotations we need. We're going to have to get this time. So the communication is there, just a little bit low energy. But again, Game 5, they're fighting for 3rd place. This is what it all comes down to.
I was honestly a little bit surprised before we let this one go. Red Reserve's communications, as the game started to spiral out of control, they seemed so calm. There was no increase in just enthusiasm. No one's trying to get this squad fired up. They looked stronger, though, in the first search and destroy, and we'll see what's going to happen as we get the rematch. Game 5 is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's MLG Primetime on MLG.tv.
What I know about Red Reserve is they've got Nile, so it's one of them ones. We played them in Birmingham, we smoked them in Birmingham. Definitely outclassed their team in every aspect of the game in terms of slaying, smarts.
The matchup between Elevate, I think we should beat them twice. They're not in the best place as a team right now, and we are better than them.
As long as we slay in the respawns, we should easily take it. They're a pretty good S&D team. They like to make it a bit random, but we can beat them 3-1. We've done it in Birmingham. We know we can do it again.
The key to beating Elevate is we starting strong. If they get the first map, it just makes the whole thing a lot longer and draws it out more. But if we take the first map, we should take the S&D as well, so that's 2-0 up, and then obviously it's in our favour from there on.
Depending on the second S&D map, if they get something like throwback, they'll probably take it. If not, we should 3-0. Can't see them being that much of a threat.
There you heard from Elevate. Reedy feeling very confident if it goes to a map like Throwback, and that's exactly what we're going to see, a Game 5 Throwback here to decide who's going to finish with third place. I was looking at the numbers from that last game. Reedy went plus 20.
It's pretty good. Very good score. Again, dude did it all, had the most time in the hill, had the most streaks. Single-handed performance, he's going to have to carry that into Throwback as well. He might be a prophet getting the map right if it goes to Game 5, but it's kind of weird as well. Both teams were kind of like, yeah, Red Reserve has the edge in Search and Destroy, but again, the first time around, Elevate, they won it pretty convincingly. And if you look at the leaderboard, it doesn't even make sense as to why. Urban, he's chilling at top. He's been phenomenal all weekend. Even back in Birmingham, he was on point. Shawnee's having a decent event as well. And then you see Watson. He's the only guy.
Only guy from Elevate there. I think the numbers are going to change a little bit because these are the numbers before this series kicked off. And if you remember back to Game 2, it was Elevate who outclassed Red Reserve. They did it with smarts. They did it on rotations. They didn't force gunfights right away. Instead, they went for better setups and then tried to catch Red Reserve in transition. Can they do it again? We're about to find out. Throwback, Search and Destroy to decide it all for our European teams. Who is going to walk away the victor here? Watson, he's shown that he loves to snipe. Will he get any early picks? Is Reedy going to continue to go for the early flanks? Or are we going to see more teamwork and just straight up trades?
There's going to be a lot to watch out for. This map probably has the most variation of strats we've seen from teams. That's obviously a Maven kind of stat to throw out there, but teams have been mixing up a lot. And again, the Europeans, they've played each other on this map plenty of times. They know what each other likes to do. It's all about those in-game adjustments.
And I was wondering, what are going to be the strategies here? You just see both teams running with all 4 players together. Reedy is going to get the early pick on Nile, though. Urban trades it back, and Watson's in the feed as well. So man advantage here now in favor of Elevate. Shawnee, last man standing for Red Reserve as Rated hunts down Joe.
Get first blood, win the round. Shawnee, unless he goes for a miracle run, is going to get stopped. And Reedy able to pick up 2 kills that round. Again, it's the most important gunfight on the map. That was the leaderboard we showed you earlier. Just the players that were leading in first bloods. A couple different guys on top, but Reedy, talk about Throwback, he's making his name known.
And Madcat on Twitter was saying, we haven't seen this type of Reedy since the Modern Warfare 3 amateur bracket days. What's going way back? Marky B said, come on, don't throw shade at the man. Reedy is a god, but I think Madcat's expecting Red Reserve to come out on top of this one. So far, Madcat, you are dead wrong, buddy. Elevate gets the first round win. It's Red Reserve trying to answer back. Nile, he's going to be your bomb carrier, and he's going to throw it down at A. You saw the early distraction coming from Urban over at Fields. Watson, though, first blood on Nile. So, again, it's Elevate getting first blood, and most likely the round here is just Shawnee and Joe left up.
Yep, and Urban got shut down as well. Shawnee's trying to make some magic happen. He's actually able to pick up 2. Reedy's going to get that trade. And, well, that pre-fire was perfect. You know, flashbacks to those amateur days back in Modern Warfare 3. It's the exact same person I'm seeing here coming from Reedy. So, again, good final 2 kills, but first blood wins you the round, and Watson was coming out on top for that.
The old guard, Rated and Reedy, coming in big, 6-0 to start this one off combined. On the other side, you can see the frustration from Urban. Joe calling out the strategy. Their attack did not work, but what is Red Reserve going to do now on the defensive end? We'll see how they set up. Reedy on your screen, and he is going to be sprinting his way directly to this A bomb site. Rated behind him. Reedy's going to look for the first blood. There it is.
And he's going to push as well. Pops the FTL, but the player trying to kill Zed's going to pick him up instead. So they just overran the A bomb site, and that player's going to fall as well. And that is about as aggressive around on offense as you're going to see. They came flying down that A street, ignored mid-map almost entirely, but the pressure was just too real. So again, you win first blood, you win the round.
Elevate showing some big cojones there on that attack. Reedy just flying at his opponents. Red Reserve has to figure out how do you slow this game down. They'll have bomb in hand, and it's Nile once again, your camo player at 0-3. That's not how you want to start a search and destroy. Urban, he's going to get the early position. Doesn't want to get picked by a potential sniper. Instead, finds 2 players in the middle, and it's sloppy shots. Reedy outgunning another player. He is 6-0. He's working on streaks here in search and destroy.
Yeah, you just can't let that happen. You can't lose that gunfight. Either way, though, you just see how passive Red Reserve is being forced to play. They're turtled up in their base. Elevate's running as the full squad. They are just flying downfield. Joe's able to pick up 2 as well, so they're going the 0 cover route. Challenging gunfights on players and head glitches, and that's not always the best thing to do. You go down, you have 0 cover, nowhere to duck and hide, and your team just gets picked apart. So 3v4 clutch, good job for Red Reserve to get on the board.
Shawnee is going to get revenge for Urban as he picks up the final kill on Reedy. So no score streaks to worry about here for Red Reserve. Reedy was stopped just short. And this is where you can see them bounce back right into the game. Reedy on your screen, bringing out the fist, but not charging to A. Instead, he's going for the long flank. The rest of his squad moving their way to the A bomb site. Reedy's going to set up and look for anyone trying to loop behind his squad. And it doesn't look like there's going to be an interaction. Let's go over to player 5 if we can. I want to see what Nile's going to do. He's leading this charge with the K-Bar.
Yeah, Red Reserve just choosing for the wrap back, but they got to retake the bomb site. Again, it's a situation these players have been in probably hundreds of times. They know where players are going to be posted up, always in bowling, always in the bus. You also have to worry about Reedy coming on the flank, and he's going to be able to pick up 1 kill as well. Going for the second, get some shots from Shawnee, but he's able to make that trade. Either way, though, that clock is ticking down. Red Reserve, they got to go real fast, and Shawnee able to get the second.
Watson's going to have his hands full, and Joe comes flying through the air, winning that gunfight. This is a Red Reserve round, and the defuse is going to go to Nile, help him get closer to that camo. 2 rounds back-to-back now for Red Reserve.
Yeah, and that's huge as well. They had, what, 21 seconds left into 3v3, and I can't remember which player it was that was up in top ticket, but he just stops pre-aiming that front window, and as soon as he lets his guard down for a moment, that's exactly when Shawnee comes in, takes that gunfight win, and again, Red Reserve, they're clutching up when they need to, back-to-back at least. So a couple of impressive rounds. They got to let it ride, though, and Nile needs to get on the board.
Against Optic Gaming, Zed was the star on this map in Search and Destroy. He is just 1-3, hasn't been challenged much in the middle of the map with the ERAD. In fact, you're seeing a totally different strategy from Elevate this time around, constantly going with a 3 or a 4-man stack. They're going to leave Reedy to watch the center of the map, and it looks like everyone else is going to loop around. Bomb in hands of Nile, though, for Red Reserve. And it looks like this one's going to play pretty slow. Bomb not going to go down for Red Reserve, and it's going to just buy time here for Elevate to get behind him.
Either way, though, I like the decision out of Red Reserve. If they had planted the bomb in that field, normally what you want to do is back up to blue, but that's exactly where Elevate was coming from. So right now, Red Reserve just wants to get information about where these players are. You can see they kind of have a full spread across the bottom side of the map. And they're just waiting for that first blood to come in, but time is ticking down. They're able to get it down. Watson, though, gets that first blood, so advantage Elevate.
Watson's going to see the Scarab leading the charge as well, scouting it out. Will he be able to turn this into kills? Almost. That player escaping with just a sliver of health. And Watson, his team had an advantage. Now they're down a man, Rated and Reedy. Last 2 up. Can they clutch this one up? Shawnee, the only one alive for Red Reserve. He will fall. And just like that, the 2 veterans getting the job done once again. That looked like a Red Reserve round, and then all of a sudden, Rated and Reedy turn it backwards.
Yeah, definitely a round that was more difficult than it needed to be. They get that first blood, nearly throw it away. But the 2 guys, they've been doing pretty good all series for them. Rated and Reedy able to clutch up in the end. So Elevate kind of slowing that momentum down that Red Reserve is trying to build up, especially in a fashion where Red Reserve is just clutching up the rounds. So they keep finding themselves in bad positions. Red Reserve able to turn around twice, but again, Reedy continuing it. Looks like he did back in Modern Warfare 3.
From our position while we're casting, we're able to see the analyst, and I just saw Apathy so puzzled by what he saw in that last round. He just threw his hands up saying, what is going on in this game? So much on the line. It is game 5. If you lose here, you have to play for your spot in the stage 2 of the Global Pro League. You have to go through relegation. And Zed is going to set up here in the center. Rated gonna get picked though by Urban, who peaks at just the right time. Nice gun skill there. Just his second kill, and they needed it most here.
Yeah, and you don't see that every day. Those two teams just had a standoff over by the B bomb site and field. Never seen that before, honestly. It doesn't happen very often, but of course, Urban, with that scare being used, able to find the first blood. So pretty important stuff. Red Reserve, though, they keep rotating just completely as a team, which is perfectly fine, especially if you have the first blood. But they do give up that bomb plant at the B site.
Reedy's about to get swarmed. Here comes 2 players. Reedy is going to have enough cover for now, but it's Shawnee and Joe picking up the kills. Reedy, last man standing, is just going to try and delay this defuse. Spots Joe. Joe sees him, and he has to jump into action. His point has been called out. The position now eliminated. Urban's going to get the kill, and it's going to be a defuse coming through. Red Reserve, they're not going down without a fight. They bring it back within 1.
Yeah, again, good round by Red Reserve. Reedy nearly able to make a play there. He had the FTL jump. He made the smart play, not shooting the player in the back immediately, getting information, finds the second guy, then takes the gunfight. But ultimately, his movement wasn't quite good enough to get around that wall. But again, tough spot he was in. It would have been a miracle if he had pulled that one off.
Yeah, if Joe was the player going for the bomb defuse there, Reedy can potentially win the round. Delay long enough, shoot him in the back, and then just try and buy time. The end, though, it was really just Red Reserve crashing in on all 4 players of Elevate. Urban's first blood turns the tide. It's been first blood wins the rounds throughout the entire group stages we've seen here in stage 1. Who's going to get first blood this round? It looks like no interactions in your first 20 seconds. Rated's looking for the peak. Camo coming out. He's got 2 players lined up. Has he been spotted? No. He's got Nile from behind. Sees a third in the window. So all kinds of communication, but can he convert this into kills?
Well, use it for first blood, but still they're going to be in a bit of a difficult spot. Reedy, though, is able to pick up a kill as well, and Elevate's looking pretty comfortable. Rated just needs to stay alive and buy time for his team. You see Watson coming around the back, and well, Rated's going to pick up the kill anyway. Joe's the last one up, and he's going to get shut down very quickly. So very bold camo usage, doing it just for that first interaction. You even saw the confusion on his face where he has players just surrounding that field area, but again, he makes it work. Elevate, they're looking to go back-to-back in the search and destroys.
What a play there by Rated. He was the hero. None of his teammates were in position to trade if that goes wrong. He doesn't shoot right away. He doesn't give up his position. He gets as much information as possible, calls it out. His teammates get back into position, and most importantly, Rated wins the gunfights. He gets the first kill, fends off 2 players, and then wins the second fight. Now it's game point. Elevate could finish it right here from 0-4. To start the weekend to a 3rd place. It could happen with a win now.
And aggression as well. Not going to pay off that time, though. Shawnee's able to win the gunfight. That bomb is going to get planted, but all the players just falling down one by one. Rated is going to be the final one to get that dagger in the round. Red Reserve not out of it just yet. Very nice defensive stand.
Solid stuff here from Red Reserve. They have to play perfect here on out. The good news is you're going to start to have payloads unlocking. Something that you can use to turn the tide here in Search and Destroy. Elevate. All they have to do now, don't fold. You can make a mistake in this next round, but you can't give up around 11. Shawnee, the reactive player to watch. He has the most kills for a squad at 9 and 5. Early grenade's going to come out. That bomb carrier Nile is going to be pushed back. Nile needs about a kill to get his camo, and Nile's gone, so no camo here. Shawnee has to use the reactive. Doesn't get the kill. Reedy guns him down. Going up against reactive armor, places every bullet perfectly. 3 versus 2, just Urban and Joe left alive.
You don't even deserve to win if you're going to have that happen to you. That might as well just be the game right there. Elevate in the 4v2. They're sticking together. They just need to make sure they trade out these gunfights. See, all the players are going to get spotted. Urban can't even finish that kill. All up to Joe, and Joe was going to fall. Red Reserve just got picked apart in Search and Destroy to the surprise of, well, probably many Europeans.
What just happened to Red Reserve? You're up 2-1 in this series. You fall apart in the Hardpoint. And then you never get your camo in Search and Destroy. Urban, who's been a monster in Search for you all week, he just has a terrible game. And Reedy comes out punishing. 20 kills plus 20 there in the Retaliation Hardpoint, and he drops big double digits to close things out in a Game 5.
A fantastic performance, the duo at the end. Reedy and Rated combined something like 18 or 19 and like 6 or something like that. Definitely a Maven stat, but it was in that vicinity. But again, fantastic performance, and that's probably the most important game they've had the entire weekend, and they clutched up when it mattered most. So congratulations to Elevate.
Incredible stuff from Reedy, and he is on the stage right now. Let's hear for him. He's next to Maven.
All right, sorry, we were checking on some stuff. I've now heard conflicting things. So I was told winner of this gets third. Your teammates just said no. They're saying yes. So I'm going to have to check on that as I came up. But this series, you were down 2-1. Red Reserve was in complete and utter control. How did you guys battle back, man? How did you bring that together?
Honestly, I felt like I just flipped a switch. Started playing some of the best Call of Duty I've ever played. I have great teammates behind me. They were just baiting for me, making it easy. I mean, Dave Marshall's been playing amazing all weekend, so first thing was to shut him down, and it made it a bit easier.
Well, I want to talk about the end of the Hardpoint, because that was a back-and-forth game there on Retaliation, and then you end up going on, what, an 11 streak to close that out. Absolutely went off, start crushing. How'd you do that, man? It was like a triple with the Trinity Rocket. You picked up a couple there with Bombardment as well. That was sick stuff, buddy.
Yeah, they was basically just falling into my aim, and I was just playing it really smart, trying to use my brain. I'm not really a running gunner. I've got pretty bad gun skills, so I was just playing the map real smart, letting them just come into my aim. But thanks for Shawnee for letting me overlap my streaks. I completely outplayed him on that fourth hard point, but, you know.
All right, and then the Game 5, man. You go off, what, into 12 kills, 3. What happened with that? You challenged, I think it was Shawnee with the reactive armor at back bus, and you just destroyed him. But talk to me overall, how were you able to go off there in the throwback search and destroy?
I just didn't want to lose. I mean, it means a lot for us 4, 3, and Elevate, that we've been underperforming massively. And I mean, the practice thing, I spoke so much about it. I just don't want to lose for my teammates and my family, really, because it's kind of annoying going back from American events saying you've done bad. It's like really annoying. But Shawnee stopped shooting me on the bus, so he just told me then, so I was kind of lucky.
All right, so I came into this last question, I came into this knowing that whoever won this got third. You guys were like, no, we didn't. Guess what? You did get third. You've qualified for Stage 2. You qualified for Champs. You're going to be in Anaheim pool play. How does that feel? I was so confused. I was like positive, and you guys were like, no, we didn't. You did. You got third. How's it feel?
That's a lot of stress relieved. I mean, I feel sorry for these lot. All great friends, especially Sean. He's a great player. Love teaming with him this year. I mean, it is what it is. I'm very happy right now, but, you know, it's a good feeling.
Hey, congrats, buddy. Let's hug it out. Come here. Ben, take it away.
Thank you very much, Maven, and congratulations to Elevate. And they have secured that spot over in Season 2, and of course, more importantly, Call of Duty World Championships later on in the year. What a series, though. I mean, you're fighting for your spot, you're fighting for your life. Winner takes all, goes to Game 5 once again. I mean, wonderful stuff. Commiserations, of course, to Red Reserve, who, you know, had a relatively decent weekend and just couldn't close it out when they needed to. But we'll break down that series now for everyone at home. We'll start with map number 1. And the big thing really was Joe finally stepped up. He's had a bit of an iffy weekend, to be fair, but he finally steps up, and he impressed you a lot.
Yeah, definitely. They needed some sort of spark from him. He's able to do it on that map number 1, and a huge performance, really. He's one of the players on the team that's going to put the most pressure on when he is having that success. And the fact that he's able to do it at this opportune time kept him in this series longer. Just unfortunate at the end there.
Of course, Red Reserve take the series, take the map, I should say, 250 to 170. It was just a great performance. Of course, we have Jack on the analyst desk. You did such a good job on the telestrator. I thought, hey, let's move you on up to the big boys, put you on the analyst desk. What's impressed you the most about this Red Reserve squad in map number 1?
Well, what I couldn't believe was that they start off already with the hardpoint victory, and you mentioned how Urban has been the guy all weekend. There have been so many maps for this team where you say if he gets help from one person, it's a map victory. And here, as you said, it is Joe. Turns around with over a minute in the objective. Finally going positive in a respawn game mode was big for him. And when they wind up getting that momentum, when they wind up having that other piece to help Urban, it makes all the difference. And this isn't the only team that this plagues that we've seen in the Pro League. There have been other squads as well where it's not a one-man army. It's not a one-man show. You need to have help. There they finally get it, and they look completely different in Hardpoint.
Very true. Then we go over to map number 2, of course, and this is where Elevate bounce back a little bit. They take the search and destroy 6-2. And Appy, I guess I want to ask, were you surprised to see Red Reserve drop that search and destroy? Did you think that it was maybe going to be an easier series for them?
Honestly, I thought that Red Reserve were going to win that map. You know, they were really good. Throwback. I mean, wait, what was the second map again?
Crusher.
Crusher, my bad. They were a really good Crusher team. Sorry about that.
They just play really well. I saw them being really aggressive at times, you know, pushing, flanking, you know, just using their teamwork really well. So I was really surprised for them to take that. Honestly thought Red Reserve would be a better search and destroy team, but they proved me wrong.
Huge stat to take note of there as well. Urban 5 and 6 in that game. Already start to see the storyline that'll develop as we go on in this one, but Red Reserve, everything we spoke about coming into this weekend. Search and destroy, how good they are at the game mode, how them and Optic Gaming look to be the two best in that game mode coming into the weekend. Then to have it all turn out like it did in this one where they dropped both of them, it all shows with Urban having a slow map too.
And I think that's the key point that you just kind of nailed there. And TP, you've been kind of harping on about it all throughout the weekend, to be honest, is they just seem to play so scared in Search and Destroy.
Just really slow play. But I'm going to go back to this previous series today where they choked that throwback against E6. I think that was sort of the game changer for them, and it sort of translated over to this series. When you throw away a map like that, they had a 5-3 lead. They threw it away. E6 comes back and wins that one in the previous series. You come into this one, I don't know if they just kind of threw their overall confidence in Search and Destroy out the window, but they didn't look the same at all on it. Got absolutely smoked on that map too.
Yeah. And then of course we head over to map number 3, and this is where Red Reserve bounced back. It's an 8-7 victory for them. But going into the series, Rated had a 1.64, Reedy a 0.92. That's his closest team. You can just see the massive amount of difference. But in the first couple of minutes, Jack, Rated carries. And I mean, carries hard, makes a fantastic play.
It's one of the better individual performances we've seen so far in the Global Pro League. How good he did, especially in consistent slaying for the side of Elevate throughout this entire weekend, was absolutely mind-blowing. Obviously, especially on a map like this where you think the submachine guns are going to reign supreme, he's still able to get it done and put up some big numbers on the board.
I know, Apathy, you specifically seemed a little concerned about the way Elevate used their streaks in this one. You said maybe it wasn't the correct time to use it.
Yeah, definitely bad timings. You know, they didn't use it when they should have. They could have possibly gone into ship, you know, call it in on their base, force them to come inside. And it's just easy to get those kills and then able to push out, get free points. But I just felt like they used them poorly. Could have used them way better.
Very true, of course.
When you have that much utility, they burned an overdrive, 2 Trinities, bombardment, and what they get, they had to resort all the way to camo to get the dunk at the end, and then they blow the lead. Joe makes a huge play on Red Reserve to make that lead block. We saw that dunk go in for Red to take that 8-7 lead, but it never should have gotten to that point in my opinion. Elevate uses that utility so bad, and you look at the slaying there too. Like, it just shouldn't happen. When you do that well previously in the game and you have those things to close it out, how many times, like, give all those streaks and the abilities to Optic. They're going to score like 8 points there, not 2. Like, it just needs to be better.
Very true. Red Reserve, of course, 2-1 up at that time. We go into a map number 4, and Apathy, you saw it was Retail Hardpoint. You said, oh, you know, this is one of Elevate's better maps. Well, why did you say that? What makes you think they were so good at that map specifically?
I mean, on top of the AR dominance they have, I just feel like they know how to play the map so well. I mean, they're always in good positioning. They're always working teamwork to, you know, break certain hills. And they do plays that usually you don't see from other teams, you know, double flanking or double pinching or taking long routes, and usually works. And Reedy just had a monster game. I believe he went like 28-8, and just with like him going off and getting streaks, it was just easier on their part.
It's crazy stuff too. You see that box score there. Usually, you don't see lower street that lopsided usually. Over 80 points on that one compared to just the 3 points on the other side. We talk about the money hills being Cathedral all the way over towards Broken, but when you can score that many points on lower street, that's usually a hill where you bounce off that bridge, and that's where you can get someone on streaks. When we see streaks, we talk about Reedy on this one. 11 streak to close that one out. Streaks are the most important on Retaliation. If you can earn those, it's pretty much over.
It's also not good to have a player with only 8 kills.
That's very true, Jack.
That's why you're on the desk, Jack.
A 3.5 before. It's basically what happens whenever I go ahead and search for the team.
I mean, I find what's really important and extremely important, like you said, streaks. But also on that low street hill, what you want to do is really control top plat. And I felt like they did a really good job on that. And on top of that, they were getting the kills up there. So it was just so easy for them to control top plat and easily hold that hill.
Very true. And it is worth mentioning, Reedy finishes that one with a 3.22. Jack, going into game 5 at that point, were you thinking, all right, I mean, that's a ton of momentum, surely Elevate take it?
Well, we were all talking in the green room saying, you know, where's this going to go? What are our predictions? All of us couldn't really decide. We were looking at everything we saw this weekend, every note we noticed between these two teams. We were split on where it would go, and I think it was for good reason. It goes all the way to round 10. Obviously, Elevate narrowly take it, but again, props to Reedy. It's a reason why we had him up there for the interview. 3.25 again. Back-to-back 3+ KD games.
I think the big issue really was now on Urban 1-6, down 4-2. Then you have Reedy and Rated 8-2 and 5-2 respectively. I mean, they stepped up when they needed to, team.
Definitely. I wish we could have got that replay just before this situation happened where Shawnee pops that reactive armor. Stop shooting at the worst time. Reedy gets that kill. If Shawnee picks that up, that's a favorable situation for Red Reserve. Going to a late round situation, that could have gone to a round 11 fairly easily. So it hurts. I feel bad for Shawnee on that one.
Urban coming into the series, the top S&D KD of the weekend. Far and away, really my guy to watch in Search and Destroy up to this point. In this series, the most important series for him, the one that would qualify for $2.4 million in upcoming tournaments, goes overall 9-14. Talk about a complete difference from what we saw earlier in the weekend to there. That's got to hurt.
And on top of that, I think what helped Reedy, have an amazing performance was just the fact that he went off the map before. It was a complete confidence boost. It was such a momentum swing. Just going into the next map. I mean, when you have a map like that, you're just so confident and ready. You're going to dominate next map.
And that's one of the biggest changes we saw from Elevate. I haven't seen them play Search and Destroy like that, I don't think, this entire group. So going off of that momentum, we talk about it a lot here in Call of Duty in general. When you have a map like that, Reedy was just soaring forward. He challenged a reactive player. He's challenging top blue window. They didn't care, and that sort of, overall aggressiveness and confidence is so good on throwback specifically.
And something you mentioned actually in the green room was going into that game 5, you said specifically Red Reserve looked deflated. They looked upset. Now, speaking to the players after the series, obviously they said from Elevate, oh, we thought even if we won that, we weren't going to qualify. So a question to you, App, do you think maybe that actually helped them in some way where they were just kind of going and saying, oh, we just want to win this series? They weren't actually thinking about, hey, we win this, we get to COD Champs, we get to Stage 2. I mean, you qualified for a serious amount of money. Was that maybe a good thing almost for Elevate?
I feel like it probably was a good thing. Relieves sort of like pressure and the stress, coming into that match. And, they're just playing for the win. They're playing for basically, the competitiveness. And they really wanted to win just to show them that they are the better team. Yeah. So I felt like it did help.
First series they win all weekend, and it qualifies them all the way for 3rd place. So pretty good win, right?
Yeah,
pretty good win. Commiserations once again to Red Reserve. They will, of course, be fighting through relegation in Anaheim. But throughout that series, of course, we had our score streak prediction game. We love that over at mlg.tv/COD. And we can see the questions now on the screen. In map number 1, we said, which team will be leading after the first full hardpoint rotation? And that was pretty split, to be fair. Pretty split. 56 said Elevate, 44 said Red Reserve. Where would you put your money, team?
That's a coin flip.
Coin flip?
I don't blame either side. It's just flip a coin. First hardpoint rotation is so tough, especially on those type of maps. It can snowball pretty quick.
I would have absolutely picked Elevate. Been completely wrong.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, maybe you might have had better luck in map number 2, because in map number 2, we asked, will the game go past the 9th round? Yeah, will the game 2 S&D go past the 9th round? 65% said yes. 35% said no. Would you have been a winning man on this one?
Oh, 100%.
100%?
Oh,
Absolutely.
I had that one easily. I knew Elevate were going to win 6 rounds in a row.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Everyone did, right? Everyone did. Game number 3, however, we asked the question, how many points will be scored in the first half of game 3? And the options were less than 7, 62%, or 7 or more, 38%. App, do you think that's a strange one?
Definitely. I mean, getting more than that in one side, that's
Frost.
Tough. Right. Yeah, Frost, I mean,
it's hard.
I would have not got that.
Fair enough. Well, we can take a look now at our leaderboard, see if we recognize any of those familiar names that have been playing Score Streak throughout the weekend. Yesterday, I believe the highest streak was 11. It's still 11. Woo. Rocky Hardy.
Wow.
That's seriously impressive.
I don't know how you do that.
11 in a row. That's tough.
It's from the future.
I think my highest would be like 4.
I would have got most of those wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Well, shout out to Rocky Hardy leading the leaderboard, of course, with a solid performance on the Score Streak prediction game. And of course, as I said, you can see it at mlg.tv/COD. You get up-to-date event statistics. You can watch featured player POV, source quality, and of course, the fantastic prediction game. But we still have one final game to play here at Day 3, Week 4 of the Call of Duty Global Pro League presented by the PlayStation 4. Congratulations, of course, to Elevate as they secure the number 3 spot in the group. Up next, it's the battle for number 1. Enigma 6 must 3-0 Optic Gaming to take that spot away from them. MLG Primetime continues after this.